All right.
Hello and welcome to the Medical Ancillary Sales Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Berg, joined by my co-host, Vivian Hudson. Hi, Vivian.
Hi, Mike. And today we're covering yet another sales topic. So keep everybody motivated out in the field and give them some basic tips on how to get started.
I know with our organization, we've had a lot of new people that have come into the industry that are looking to make a splash, looking to get a fast start. But, these tips also apply to maybe people who have already been out there in the field, but they've hit a rut. So today we wanted to discuss the top 4 tips that you and I had compiled for how to get a fast start in the medical ancillary space.
Sounds good. And sometimes, as you say, when you're in a rut, sometimes it's just good to get back to basics, because often we kind of change what we're doing and we kind of get out of what we should be doing. And just that reminder will bring us back to creating a new system or refreshing that system to get it to work again. So what's your first tip, Mike?
The first tip is to properly research your region and your territory. And this is multifaceted. In the way I think about doing research, the first thing that I'm thinking when I take on a new territory is I'm really just looking at the geography, first of all. I'll use tools like Health Grades and even just Google to find where physicians are located. They're usually clustered. And then I will research the geography to know where I should be hitting, what's going to be the best use of my time. We've spoken about that in previous podcasts. A lot of sales reps waste a lot of time zigzagging around town. You can actually save a lot of time, be a lot more efficient, and see more customers in the same amount of time by properly mapping out where these customers are located.
Yes, absolutely. And also when it comes down to doing that, I know you've spoken before about even just thinking what side of the street the
Sure.
doctors are on, so you're not having to cross traffic and stuff. So particularly if you're in a city, doing something like that is really smart. Or I've done like more rural territories where you might go from one small town to another. So you might have a half-hour drive or something in between, or finding some of those small offices in between that and another major area. So between, say, here in Greenville, there's probably 2 or 3 other small towns that I could stop in to visit doctors' offices. So getting smart about the geography, as you say.
Yeah, absolutely. And, the research also comes down to researching the physicians that you're calling on. Obviously, you want to know something about them. Almost every practice nowadays has a website, so there's a lot of information you can glean from that. And the more information you have going into the sales call, the better.
Yes, absolutely. And there's different ways that you can find out what kind of patients your doctor's seeing. So obviously when you're in front of them, you can find out what patients they're seeing. But there's a CMS linked website. I have to remember which one it is, and I might find it before the end of the podcast, but that you can actually see how many Medicare patients your doctor's seeing. So if they're only billing out a small amount of money and not seeing that many active Medicare patients, then that is certainly a good place to go to be able to work out whether you want to walk in there spouting on about a Medicare program, or perhaps one of the other solutions that's better supported by private payers.
Absolutely. So Viv, why don't you get us into number 2 here, your second tip?
So I think being an easy person to work with is really key. So when we go into a doctor's office, it's not about us. So just setting aside your own agenda and really being open-minded, I think is very key and very receptive, and really being willing to engage in a dialogue with a physician is pretty important when you go in. And also just being accessible and being someone who's dependable as well. So I know I would do my sales calls and I would make some notes. I'd usually pick up the business card for the office, try try to squish as many little notes on the back of that card so that I could remember at the end of the day what I'd promised. And if I'd promised to find some articles about something, then I would go home, research that, and make sure that I'd email those to the physician or whoever was asking for that information. Was one of the key things. But I think always being friendly above all, because people like to do business with people that they like and that they trust. So being dependable and easy to get along with, I think, are two of the things that I would say. So what would you add to that, Mike?
Well, I mean, you have to understand. I mean, we're not an impediment. We are a portal. We're a tool that the physician can use to get these programs done in their office and done in a seamless fashion. So don't diminish your own value, and you can make a doctor's life a lot easier. And so that's the message that I try to convey as I speak to physicians is I'm here to make your life easier. I'm here to show you what's available on the market. If there's something you want to go for, I'm here to help you get it done, come hell or high water. But also along with that, we're in the service business. I'm here to serve the physician. So in any capacity, that means if they're calling me in the evening, I always try to answer the call. Whenever people are calling me, always try to answer the call or get right back to them. I've gotten comments from people. I've had customers now from 2009 when I started in the ancillary space, and I still have steady customers. And one of the comments that I get is that you're always easy to get in touch with, Mike. Just little things like that will really go a long way.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that website that I was trying to think of is healthgrove.com, and looking at medicare-payments.healthgrove.com. And that's where you can find your physicians that are in your local area and see what kind of Medicare patients they've got. So I thought I'd throw that little tip in there before we moved on.
Perfect. Well, let me jump into number 3. And that's clearly setting expectations in the practice. And you can do that right in the beginning. So I let practices know if I'm just starting with a new practice, I've never been in there before, I introduce myself, who I am, why I'm there, the problem I'm going to solve for them. And I set expectations in terms of how often they're going to be seeing me and the type of value I'm going to be bringing their practice and the type of information I'm going to be delivering their practice. And then once I have commitment from a practice that they're going to begin an ancillary program, that's where it's really important to set expectations, to let them know remind them of what their goals are. Why are you doing this? Doctor, you told me that you want to do this program because you're motivated by these factors. It's going to give you better objective data to be able to better treat your patients. It's going to be able to generate $12,000 to $15,000 a month, right? Is that what your goal is? Yes. Once you have commitment, okay, in order for you to achieve your goal, this is what we're going to require. If you want to make that money next month, we got to get this program implemented in the next week and a half, which means I'm going to be back here these days. I'm going to be doing this on this date. We're going to see this many patients by this date. And you lay out the whole plan for the doctor, and you stick to the plan, and you carry, as long as you do your end of it. And if the doctor slips, you can always remind them of, this isn't an expectation that I foisted upon you. This is what you told me you wanted to get done. I'm here to help you achieve your goals. Help me help you. And it works. It really works well.
Absolutely. And I think that is really key. Like when you're getting a program started, is knowing that you're going to be on hand. And it's like starting to lose weight. If you know somebody's going to make you accountable, you're much more likely to stick to the diet plan, right?
Yep.
So it's the same with any new behavior. If you add in that layer of accountability, and it's supportive accountability, and that's what you're doing as a sales rep. And I think that staying in the doctor's ear about the program and knowing who's going to be managing that program in the office and knowing that you're on hand to answer their questions is absolutely key to getting that service up and running. And it's always easier to get a second sale from the same doctor that's already bought from you than it is to go out and scout a new one. So if you have had doctors in the past that have bought programs or services from you, they are your easiest, they're your lowest hanging fruit. So always go back to those.
And the other part of it is the reality of this business, Viv. The people who are successful in this business, a lot of people think, oh, I just got a bad roll of the dice. I got a bad program. And trust me, there's lots of bad programs out there. We've all been fallen prey to that. But a lot of the time, it's the people who are really successful. You could give them 5 different programs. They'd be successful with any one of them. It's because the doctor, and we've mentioned this before in previous podcasts, but it's true. The doctor is, when they're evaluating a program, they're evaluating the merits of the program, how much it's going to help their practice, but they're also evaluating you. Do they think you're the guy or the woman who can pull this off and can help me get this done? And if you seem like a sharp individual, you got your shoes polished, you're there, you set expectations, and then you carry through on those expectations. Hey, I'm going to be back here every Thursday afternoon because I know it's the best time to see the doctor. I'll just be back here every Thursday. I'll bring some information. You let me know if the doctor has any questions. I'll be here. If you show yourself as a reliable person, once they decide to pull the trigger, when they're deciding which vendor to use, who do you think they're going to choose? So that's really what it comes down to is selling yourself. That's what setting expectations allow you to do is set yourself up to be someone that the physician can trust.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So why don't you bring us home, Viv?
Alrighty, so I guess the last point is building your network. So that network is not just other doctors. So I think one of the things that I always forgot to ask for was referrals. So if I had a doctor that bought a service from me, I often forgot to ask for referrals. So always remember that. Don't be a Viv. Remember to ask for referrals, because if a doctor can make a recommendation to another physician, it's so much easier to get that door opened. But the other thing is other reps. So I often would bail up other reps out in the car park and just have a general chat. I mean, most of them are going to be pharma reps, but if you ask them about doctors that they know that are pretty business savvy and like to make money, that those reps, they pretty much know. So when I came here, I mean, I was new to medical repping in this industry because obviously I'd moved from another country. So I had to rely, like, you don't want to reinvent the wheel. So anything that you can do to shortcut what you're doing is a bonus. So I would ask and engage in talking to other reps, and you're not a direct competition for them because you're not selling pharma stuff. So you can use them as a resource and meet up with them for lunch or coffee or whatever once in a while, and they will give you different leads or different ideas about doctors that might be receptive to the programs, and even how and when the best time is to get in there. And if you're new to an area, often they know who the office managers are, and I've even had instances where reps have shared, a lot of contact details with me, so I was able to get some information, like a lot of information that probably would have taken me a year or more to go late. So definitely networking with other reps is a good way. And then there's areas like your local chambers. Sometimes doctors are members there, or if there's not doctors, there's certainly CPAs or lawyers or people that work with doctors, and let them know what you do. And what CPA doesn't want to look like a hero to their physician by saying, hey, look, we can see an opportunity for you to make some money. And if your accountant's telling you to adopt a program because it's going to make more money, then you're probably a lot more likely to listen. So definitely don't always just be thinking doctors, thinking who else do doctors use.
Good suggestion. Yeah, I am in total agreement about not only trying to get referrals from physicians, which you only ask for referrals once you've implemented a program, but most importantly, asking other sales reps. I've had a lot of success with that, Viv, because the thing is, I've been on the other side. I've sold pharmaceuticals, and you're right, most of the reps you run into are going to be selling pharmaceuticals as the number one reps out there, but those people are looking for an in also. So it can't just be something where you're looking to get something from them. You need to give something too. So try to be as helpful and open of a person as you possibly can, and look for ways that you can help other people. If you help other people, it always comes back around. So,
Absolutely, absolutely. Go Givers Sell More. Have you read that book?
I haven't, but I'm going to jot that down. That sounds very apropos here.
Yeah, no, it's a good little read, and it's very much about the more you give away, the more comes back to you because people see you as a person of value and somebody who's willing to share. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
go
I think
give
we
us sell
covered it,
more.
Viv.
Yep. All right. Thanks, Mike.
Thanks.